Last week, when this debate first came out, we discussed what was right or wrong about it. We discussed the issue of individual freedom, the issue of personal liberties. We had a very heated debate here on the News Hour. Not everyone anticipated at that point of time that this would get into a legal tangle. Not everyone anticipated that the Supreme Court would put a notice to it. Now, that may be part of process. But let's look at the legality of it this evening with Harish Salve, former Solicitor General, and KK Sood, former Additional Solicitor General. They have different views on the subject. Harish Salve, I just want to start by asking you about the pure legality of it, because you were not in the country when this judgment came out, and it was discussed among activists and those who opposed it. Now, legally speaking, there are the scriptures and values argument, that's one. There is the health argument on the other. There is what is natural and what is criminal. That's the third argument which is put forth. How strong is the argument put by the anti-gay sex lobby?
First, of course, let's get matters in perspective, Arnab. This judgment has nothing to do about the morality or the immorality of gay sex. This judgment only says you cannot, in today's time and age, treat sex between the same two consenting adults of the same gender as being a criminal offense. That is all that this judgment says. It recognizes a human being's right to choose a kind of behavior which the rest of society may consider inappropriate, aberrant, or whatever epithet you may want to use.
Yeah.
And freedom and democracy is all about tolerance. I mean, you know, as we say about freedom of speech, that I disapprove strongly what you say, but I will fight with my life to defend your right to say it. And as somebody has said that these people are sick. I mean, you don't send sick people to jail. All that the court has said is don't treat it as a criminal
but the
offense.
argument can be put, Mr. Salve. Mr. Salve, I dread.
Sure.
I dread the thought of taking you on legal points, so I will not. But the point is, just if I were play devil's advocate with Harish Salve, nevertheless, and then come to KK Sood, so it can be argued that you're changing social norms, and changing social norms amounts to keeping the freedom of one at the expense of the established freedom of a lot of other people. So freedom is also relative. When you change social norms,
absolutely.
Just arguing, for argument's sake.
You see, no, you've raised a very important point. There are certain certain rights which are called community rights or group rights, and there are certain rights which are individual rights. My freedom of conscience, my freedom to practice religion, my freedom to act in a way that I do should not impinge on somebody else's sensitivities.
Yes.
What I indulge in the privacy of my home, if it is between two consenting adults, is no business of my neighbor. It is this kind of a nanny state approach which I think in current times we need to relook.
But the argument...
But that is all that the judgment says. It doesn't permit having gay sex in the middle of India.
No, it doesn't. No, I come to KK Sood now. Mr. Sood, you heard Mr. Harish Salve's arguments, and just by way of introduction, you stood against this proposed change in the law way back in 2001. You heard that argument there. Harish Salve argues this is a private matter. Nobody has anything to do with it. Neither has the state. Yes, Mr. Sood, where do you stand?
Well, to me it appears that Mr. Salve hasn't had the occasion to fully appreciate as to what has the judgment said. Undoubtedly, the judgment has said something which is not the part of Mr. Salve's argument. They have gone to the extent of saying that this is legal and they have a right to go to any place and anywhere indulge into this kind of a behavior.
That's right.
Because when they talk about Article 14, when they talk about Article 21, they take into consideration that they have a right to go anywhere, visit any place, maybe a public park and a public place, and indulge into this kind of orgies. This is one aspect. The other aspect is, well, to what extent a fundamental right by way of any kind of liberty can be used as a license?
No, but
we have got to see as a welfare state or even as a state, welfare of the largest number, and the largest number is those people who are opposed to this kind of a license.
No, but...
And I must tell one thing, that except a small section of that population, which is neither male or nor female, and if they are male or a female, they enjoy all those rights which any other female and a male enjoys.
No, but
there are two classes of people who indulge into gay activities. Now, one is men and women, the other is neutral. Now, I would like to draw a distinction between people who indulge in their closed bedrooms into this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Nobody does interfere. The argument is specious, which has been advanced in the High Court, that they interfere with the personal life and private life of the people by intruding into privacy. This is absolutely misplaced.
No, I just want to get Mr.
Nobody comes to know as to what is happening in the bedroom.
But one second. Are we confusing, Mr. Salve? See, you're using words such as orgies. You know, are you confusing somewhere? I just want to ask you, Mr. Salve, Mr. KK Sood's arguments, you're basically confusing obscenity with the act of consensual sex. Obscenity, anyone's capable of obscenity. Even heterosexuals are capable of obscenity.
No, obscenity will also be a part of, no, my dear Mr. Goswami, will also be a part of the gay activities if committed in a public place.
No, sure, but even
it would
non-gay
be. 294 is very clear about it.
No, but even non-gay activities.
I have no doubts about it.
Even non-gay activities. It applies to non-gay activities.
Section 377 has been struck down.
Yeah.
Section 377 is a specific provision which deals with an act of sex.
Yes.
The law of obscenity was not under challenge. It has not been considered. We have to read the observations of the court in the context.
No, I'm not on that question.
They were made in the context of saying yes. So let's be very clear. Secondly,
no.
This is a very dangerous argument in constitutional law to say that so many people think it is wrong. I mean, so many people may think that overeating is wrong. So many people may think drinking is wrong. Are you going to start making all these into criminal offenses? This is exactly what I'm saying. Where your conduct comes into conflict with society and society.
This analogy does not fit in the context.
Affected, that's another matter.
This analogy does not fit in. Does not fit in view of the fact that it affects the public morality, it affects the public health, it affects the sentiments.
I don't think what I do in my bedroom affects public morality.
No religion recognizes this, at least in Indian religion. Whatever religions in India are being followed, no religion accepts sodomy as a permissible practice. This is something very important to keep in mind.
It comes down, Mr. Sood,
the moment you justify, the moment you justify a ground as a criminal offense on the ground that it is prohibited by religion, it will be struck down for the asking.
No, Mr. Salve.
Mr. Penal code does not depend on religion.
It is not.
No, Mr. Salve.
It's not on that. I say it in the context of the words having been used in the judgment to the extent it was reported in the newspapers. They say the security of state, the interest of the state is different than the interest of the society.
Mr. Salve, Mr. Sood, I am in the unenviable position with my lack of legal expertise caught between India's top, one of India's top lawyers and a former additional Solicitor General. I will only say that in 2008, both you gentlemen would remember that when Additional Solicitor General Malhotra stood to talk about the case, he talked about morality. And hence, it comes down to an issue of a definition of what is moral and immoral, because he cited an Orissa court judgment to say that such behavior resulted from a perverse mind that needed to be controlled. That was what...
I don't think it is correct.
No, he said that.
The stand of the central government put forward through the Home Ministry must be the same as was put during my times, and I justified that.
Okay. Well,
unfortunately, as is found in the present government, that the two wings of the government do not speak the same thing.
Well, that's true. But
the family welfare and the, what is that name of the other ministry?
Yeah,
it had a different brief than the Home Ministry.
But Mr. Sood...
The conflict between them, the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing.
But Mr. Mr. Salve, I'll only wrap up by saying one thing is clear. The union government now has to make up its mind as far as this issue is concerned. What's happened essentially today is the Supreme Court's thrown the entire issue back into the government's court. And hence we'll follow the story and see where the government stands.